Well guys, it's been a while since we've given you an update on the 50 Plymouth. So that's what this video is going to be about. So stay tuned. So the 50 Plymouth is out here in the back shop because Dad's been doing some work to it. We decided that we took it off the market because, well, there was some interest in it, but little interest. It's coming up on winter. We didn't want it sitting outside next to the road where it's going to be covered in salt and crap and, one more car that we need to clean off. So what Dad's been doing is he's been working on the interior. And when I say working on, I mean completely gutting. If you guys follow me on other sources of social media, you'll know that we had a Chevy Aveo sitting out back that was junked, that we stole the seats out of. And he's got these front seats mounted as well as the back seats all mounted. And we're starting to work away at getting interior trim pieces off and door panels so that we can freshen up this interior as well as clean up the floor and all that stuff. We've got the wiring cleaned up now over in the kick panel. It used to be underneath the original seat, but the wires were just kind of running all willy-nilly. And in the process of getting those wires cleaned up, well, that kind of fell off and went missing, which is the label for where everything went. So Dad spent the better part of 3 or 4 days trying to figure out all the different circuits to get this thing so that it'll actually start. Headlights, taillights, brake lights, all that stuff working again. And I think he's there. Even the headliner has come out, and we're going to get the headliner redone. We've got all the bows for it here somewhere. And I think my wife is going to tackle doing the headliner because, well, she's got some skills in that department. And because there it is sitting there. We haven't decided how far we're going to go with the drivetrain yet. The drivetrain is something that is a bone of contention to some people because this is a Plymouth, 1950 Plymouth. Should have had a straight 6 in it. This thing has a Chevy V8, hence the Chevy V8 emblem right there. It is a 267 out of a G-body from back in the 80s, as well as a 250, maybe a 350 transmission, 3-speed anyway. There's lots of room for improvement. Maybe we drop a 350 in there. Who knows? We don't know what we're going to do yet. Maybe we will put Chrysler running gear back in it, find an old 318 or 360 to get this thing up and running. We don't know. We do have plans on converting the vacuum wipers to electric. Those kits are going to run approximately $500 Canadian, but we'll probably end up doing that because we need wipers for it to pass inspection. As you can see, the inspection ran out back in 2000. So we're going to have to get this thing inspected, and we're also going to go through the brakes as well as emergency brake because it doesn't currently have one of those. You guys know from this video up here that we actually went and replaced the entire fuel system on this car. Right from the gas tank, brand new lines, all the way up, brand new fuel pump, right up into the carburetor. We took the carburetor apart, cleaned it all up. You set the choke and you just touch the key and this thing like just purrs. It just starts. For an engine that sat for over 20 years, sometimes my old fuel injected Chevy doesn't even do that. Anyways, this thing works great. We don't know how far we're going to go with the body. Dad's talking about stripping it down and actually doing a complete restoration of the body because it does have a few flaws. Like you can see, if I roll the camera past, some ripples in the top of this fender here. It's the same thing on the other side. This bottom panel here has got some rust on it. But my dad has fallen in love with this 50 Plymouth. He likes this thing an awful lot. We may even go so far as to mess with the suspension because the front axle is set forward a little, maybe, I don't know. It's not much. But if you see here, there's a lot less room there than there is back here. So I don't know if that needs to come back a little bit, maybe an inch or so. I don't know if we'll go that far, but we're thinking maybe lowering it down front and back, make it somewhat of a lead sled, if you want to call it that. I'd like to stick with the black because the black looks sinister on these cars, but it shows all the bodywork. Dad does not like to classify himself as a professional, by no means, but you've seen his 36 Dodge, and that thing come out rather amazing. Lots of sanding and blocking and sanding more and more sanding and even more sanding again. And even once he had it painted, he clear coated the crap out of that thing and he sanded it down again to flatten out that paint and buff it back. So there's, you know, he's got the patience to do that, I think, but you know, he's not a young fella anymore, and I think that his mind is telling him he wants to do this. We'll see if his body lets him. You know, the boys in the shop, myself, we'll do what we can to give him a hand when we can. But I think this car has so much more potential that if we put that extra time into it, you know, we certainly may be able to get significantly more money out of it when the time comes to sell it. Obviously, you've got to pay for those hours you put into it. But my thoughts on it, folks, is that this car likely may not come for sale anytime soon because, like I said, the old man's fallen in love with it. He sees the potential in this car. He wants to see it through to something different, and maybe, who knows, by spring we might see that. And we might even see the 36 Dodge come up for sale. To help fund this build, who knows? But stay tuned to this channel if you guys like this content with the old cars, with the Panther platforms, with the old Chevy square body truck, and even the Yugo. I haven't seen much content on that lately. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe because the Yugo is coming back very, very soon. In fact, we're getting up to the Christmas holidays. I've got a whole week off of work, and I do plan on spending some time out in the garage working on that. We love working on these older vehicles. We love seeing what they can be. We love taking even some of the more modern vehicles like the Yugo and turning them into something that keeps them out of the junkyards and puts them back on the road. We don't want to see these things sitting in a garage. We don't even want to see them finished, but being carted around in a trailer. We want them driven. And that's one of the big things that we talk about on the Get Out and Drive podcast. If you guys don't know, I am a co-host on the Get Out and Drive podcast where we talk about just that. Getting kids back into the trades, getting cars out there and driving them, making sure that, you know, these things aren't just sitting in a barn or sitting on a trailer somewhere and getting carted around. No, we want you to drive these things. That's the whole point of preservation, is not just to spend $50, $60, $70, $80,000 or $100,000 on them to have them sit in the garage and people to look at. No, they need to be driven, folks. That's why we take the time. That's why we have the passion to do what we do. So check out the Get Out Drive podcast, anywhere that you listen to podcasts. John and I, we have a lot of fun over there. We just got back from PRI in Indianapolis last weekend, did a lot of great interviews. You might see some content coming up on that. We've also got a new venture coming out in the beginning of the year called The Breakdown. And again, it's just another format that myself and Grant Tommy, who is Straight Six fan here on YouTube, that we're going to be doing something a little bit different, tied into the Get Out and Drive podcast, but taking a little bit different approach, but building on that brand. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update on this car because I know you haven't seen it a lot in any of my videos, and I didn't show you anything about it being sold. That's simply because, well, it's not. It's still here. And, you know, this is something that we'll be following the progress. It's hard for me to film everything that we're doing to this at any given time because when Dad comes into work, he just comes out here in the back room, starts working away at it. I can't always be here with the camera. You know, Dad doesn't use a smartphone. He still has a flip phone, so he doesn't want necessarily to be on camera to be talking to you guys doing this. That's not his gang. But I'll try my best to update you and show you what he's been progressing on with this build. So again, make sure if you guys are watching this video and you want to see more on this car, give it a thumbs up. Comment below. Do you like the 50 Plymouth? Do you like this style car? Or would you sooner see something a little bit newer or maybe older? Let me know down in the comments down below. Guys, I appreciate you sticking around on this video. It's just an update video, not a lot of great information there. But nevertheless, stay focused on the windshield, not the rearview mirror. Love you guys. God bless. Let's do it again real soon.